My new coworker is my former bully and she brings up the story in the office like a funny story. So the HR called her in the conference and left the room crying. I am a lead developer on a team of mid-sized SaaS companies that is around 100 or so employees. We are large enough that there are employees we can see and recognize but not necessarily know their names. Recently, we had a new hire, Krista, who joined the PM part of the project I'm working on. I have a history with Krista from college. In college, I was a lot more in my shell. I didn't treat myself well, and I was very much the introverted nerd, down to bad posture and poor fashion sense. Krista had quite a few friends in college, but in my view, she wasn't super popular. However, she was well liked and conventionally attractive. We shared a few classes and one day, they asked me for help with an assignment. I helped her with it, and we talked, and from the sound of things, she seemed genuinely friendly to me. I helped her with a few more assignments, and finally, she asked me if I wanted to meet her after class at a coffee shop and talk. I said sure, and Krista was nowhere in sight when I arrived. I waited about 20 minutes before I called her. She answered and started laughing, and I heard several other voices laughing. Krista said something like, "Why would I want to date a fat loser like you?" I looked out the shop's front window and saw one of Krista's friends holding up her camera phone, and it looked like she was recording. The next few weeks, there were jokes about me, flyers with my face from the coffee shop video plastered with creep in bold letters. I kept my head down, and within a month, the next big thing popped up on campus, and I was forgotten. It didn't stop Krista and her friends from going ew, creep, when they saw me, but I guess for the rest of the campus, it got old, so I never got accused of anything or even really ostracized by the rest of the student body. After college, I did learn about self-care a bit better. I usually am with other programmers, so I don't stand out as a social outcast. When Krista was introduced to our team, I don't think she recognized me, and it's only been a week, but I want to know if bringing up the college incident is even worth it for HR. Most of my rational brain wants to let this go, treat Krista as a new person, and get on with me. Still, I have a small fear that she might tell a skewed version of the college events and sour the team I'm on against me, so I should at least disclose to HR so I have recourse if she does start telling tales. Reddit, Wibta, if I told HR about my past with Krista? Update, I did consult a local employment lawyer. The lawyer told me that I should make HR aware of my past with Krista but make it clear that there was never anything disciplinary acted upon me in college. He asked if my job had a copy of my transcript, and I verified that it did. The lawyer asked if any third parties would verify the harassment and see if I could get their names and contact details. I knew 2 people I still had on my LinkedIn back in college and was certain they would tell the truth, so we were good there. The lawyer told me to request a meeting with HR and my supervisor. They said there was a past with Krista and never any charges or disciplinary action. I have 2 witnesses if they ever need verification. So that was what I did. I came into the office Friday morning and emailed HR and my supervisor requesting a formal meeting at 10 a.m. My supervisor came to my desk and asked if everything was okay and wanted to ensure I was happy. I told him everything was fine, I wasn't leaving, and it wasn't anything with him or the team. He seemed relieved, and by 10 a.m., we rolled into the conference room with the HR officer. I thanked them both for taking time out of their day to meet me and then I did as my lawyer instructed. I said that the new project manager, Krista, was someone I went to college with. She participated in the harassment of me in college, detailed how I never had any charges or disciplinary action, and that I had 2 independent witnesses who saw the harassment and gave their contact info. My supervisor seemed shocked, and the HR officer went through the info I gave her for a minute, and then the 2 of them talked for a minute. Finally, Krista was called in. Krista seemed shocked when she walked into the conference room and saw me, HR, and the team supervisor. HR said, "We have been told you 2 have a past." Krista sat down and looked pretty shocked throughout. She admitted to the bullying but repeatedly refuted it as a misunderstanding. She never outright said what the bullying was, but then she was told that since this was an incident in both our pasts that nobody wanted to be brought up again, it should stay dead. HR clarified that this should not be a funny water cooler story to share. Krista and I both agreed to that, but Krista still looked shaken. Noon was coming up right when the meeting was wrapping up. My supervisor and HR again reiterated that neither of us was to speak about the college incident. We're professionals, and we're here to do a job. I went to the break room for lunch and felt like my appetite had finally returned. The last few days were stressful and starving for me, to be honest. I sat at a table with the rest of the development team, and we started eating. Halfway through my sandwich, another coworker, Sandy, came by and said, "So I heard an interesting story yesterday about you and Krista," with a big grin. She didn't get further because my supervisor was at our table. She stood up, pointed at Sandy, and across the room at Krista, said, "You too." Conference room. Now, I wasn't privy to what happened in the conference room, but I did see the HR officer go into the room 2 minutes later, looking pretty pissed and with a mustard stain on her shirt. I guess she got the call and was interrupted during lunch. Not sure what went on. The rest of my team asked what that was. I said, "I have no idea," and kept eating. 5 minutes later, 2 more coworkers on other project parts were brought into the conference room. Lunch ended, and we returned to work, but speculation was high. It wasn't until 3 that the conference room finally emptied. Krista looked like she was crying, and the others seemed to treat her coldly. I'm not sure what this will mean, but it appears that Krista is still working here. But I appreciate the lengths HR and my supervisor take to ensure this won't blow up further.